Welcome back, guys. It's Jason with your Hopium free crypto channel. Firstly, I want to say a big hello to all of the new subscribers that have come across on the recent Cardano videos. Thank you very much for joining the channel. We're very close to 200,000. So if you like what you see, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon. Let's see if we can push it above 200,000 on this correction in the market. Now, what you can see here is a few things that I want to talk about today. Watch this bullish Bitcoin pattern. Why did Cardano ADA price drop? So we're going to look at those two things. Overall, I think these are good signs and I think they're bullish. Just to give you the too long, didn't watch scenario. But in the video, I'm going to go through just quickly how it works. I don't want to take too much of your time for this video as I don't think much has changed in the market from yesterday. So bullish pattern on Bitcoin. Why did ADA drop? First, let's have a look at what the market is doing with our fear and greed. If you are new to the channel, we have been following this, and this has helped purchase some Bitcoin at the lower prices in those low to mid $30,000 ranges. We'll get to that in future videos. But for now, let's just have a look at what is going on Bitcoin. So the bullish pattern is this right here. Let's cut to the chase. Okay, we see the low, up and back. So this is basically swings. Up and back, another swing, up and back. Now you can see that this is getting weak. So in the current form, I personally look at it as being weak. But what I want to see after this is the potential correction. Now, of course, this is investing and it's trading, not financial advice. You guys probably get that by now. And the biggest thing is there are no guarantees. The main thing I do with my trading and investing is just look at where the risk is. So what is the downside risk? What's this area down here? Because at the end of the day, we are just trading this side of the market. We're trading the black zone, or if you have it on daytime mode on your trading view, you're trading the white zone over here. So we're just trading that. We don't know what's going to happen over here. We just want to look at it in terms of risk and reward. So the pattern that I'm seeing is bigger range, bigger correction, smaller range, smaller correction, smaller range, smaller correction. And if we zoom in really close, we got basically like a small little fake out here just on that one day. The market pushed up, it got everyone excited, $50,000 Bitcoin going crazy on Twitter and whatnot, next target 60,000 and all-time highs, right? But now we get this correction yesterday. Not that big, no big deal at this point. The bullish thing I want to see from here, doesn't mean it has to happen, is of course a correction. Now, why would I think that there has to be a correction from here? Well, if you've been following, and maybe you're seeing it yourself as well, on a weekly time frame, we've been up for 1, 2, 3, 4. We're into our 5th week up, and you could almost call this a half week here because we were down for half the week, up for the other half of the week. So 5.5 weeks up. This is usually about the time that Bitcoin likes to do something. It has had bigger runs, and this is out of the correction. We came out of the COVID crash, we went sideways, we moved up, and then we just took off. And then we had a tiny correction here before we burst through the previous all-time high. But over the course of like 5 or 6 weeks, we do need to see some sort of correction eventually. And I'm also seeing volume is lagging. Look what we saw when we got to these tops. Volume really started to drop off. It tried to pick up. Well, it did pick up when we dropped, but then it tried to come back as we climbed and it was still low compared to the drop. And then we got the big correction. All I'm saying here is that this would be lovely for a good buying opportunity. And if I bring it back down to a day, don't worry, I'll get to what may happen if it doesn't, get to that point, and the way I would be playing it is we go to a daily, I see a move up, bigger correction, another move up, which is a shorter move than the previous move, and then a correction. And then the final move up didn't make it to the previous high, and then the correction, and then the fake out, and then we get the dump. So the bullish side to this is that we could be coming in for some sort of correction. And of course, I'm hopeful that that happens so that it can get lower prices. But at the end of the day, I can't sway these markets any more than the next person. Maybe only MicroStrategies could sway the market if they were to dump their Bitcoin. They had enough that they could throw onto the market, but that wouldn't do them any favors because they're one of the largest holders. They don't want the price to go down at this point. That aside, the bullishness I see here is that we could be coming up to here, which I understand it sounds like bearishness, but it just gives us some time to potentially build a base and then leapfrog again. And so let's look at some targets for the downside. And if I am wrong that this is not going to drop and potentially it shoots up again, where could that top out? All right, I'll look at that first. I'm looking at this zone here. You know, this was a really big area that it just could not push through. And guys who were following from April, you know, I was calling every day on the channel, we need to get above 60,500 for it to be bullish. All right. You might remember that. You might not. That's okay. We'll get back to that. We had 11 strong days down. The big thing is we broke the low. So back to this point, here is the low. Here is another low. If we break down these, no problem. I don't think we're going into some sort of massive mega jargon all the way back down to 12K. If it does, so be it. We get a spike out. Great times to buy. We just have to be in it to win it. This is what I'm looking at here. This is the big thing. Okay. Low to the high. This bounced really cleanly at 50%. We currently hit 50%. We talked about that a lot. That's around 47K, and we've just managed to poke our heads above it, but it's not looking strong at the moment. The strong sign would be for us to consolidate above this zone and then start to springboard away. That is definitely a possibility, but of course we don't want to see it break these levels, which are around $44,000. So just using the 50% here, which had a beautiful springboard up to that level. And this is a bit of a different time to what we're seeing now. You know, we've seen a consolidation, we've seen a move out. I'm hoping to see it drop back down here, and I'll get to that price in just a second, and then come up and break through that high. So we get a higher swing low. Here's a low. Here's a low. That's bullish. And then we get the break of the high. Up, down, up. That's the bullish. Whereas here, up, down, boom, it got weak. That's what I was talking about in all those videos, which are on the channel back in May. So thank you once again, nearly at the 200,000. Subscribe if you haven't already. That's what I was seeing here. That's the difference. See, we got this big swing up if we look on a major time frame, then down, and then this did not make it. So we had to retreat. The market was not ready yet. So this is the bullish setup into that position and up. Okay, so on to the 50% zone. This is the price range that I'll be looking at. You know, if it comes back to that point, it could go further, but that would be a really good area to get in and just load up. Of course, safely, don't be going over the top. And if it did happen to break down and start breaking below 28K, you have to have that in your plan, whether you're going to hold or exit. Okay, so we're not there yet. This is just planning as an investor. So here we are at around 50.5K. The 50% zone is at around 39.5K. So give or take $500, $1,000, that's okay. The 61%, meaning a 38% retrace of this move. It's not a 38% drop. It's just a 38% retrace of the whole move. Sits at around 42K. 42K is really cool because similar areas at previous highs, previous lows. This was around 41. Then we had another area at about 42.5. And then across. So you can see that there is a lot of activity at around that zone, and it happens to line up with the current high. And I like that confluence in the pricing to get us a price cluster. So for me, anywhere in that zone there, as low as probably 37 and 44, which you can see is a little low that was just set, that seems like a good zone to reload. Is it going to get there? I honestly don't know. But I like to set myself up for a plan in case it does. And for me, that is like a strong area of support. So I'm happy in that zone to be getting in heavier on some Bitcoin and then seeing where it takes us. Remember, if it did break down and began to break these lows, it could start to churn in this zone of 28 to 36 or so for a period of time until we're ready to go again. I don't know if it's going to get there, but I have to be prepared in case it does, because that would then mean I would be in the red on that Bitcoin position, which is around 39 to 44. Call it an average price of about 41.5. There you go, 41.5, 42. And so that means it would be in the red. I just have to be comfortable with that, but I'm prepared in case that does happen. Now, quickly on the opposite side, if this happens to zone out here and form a base, here is between 45-ish, 44, and about where we currently are at 50, so 44 to 50, then we're going to know and can have the opportunity to break through. So we'll know that in advance. But if it just breaks through from here, for me, that's a little too weak of a pattern, and I'm happy to sit to the sidelines, and even if it does come up and start to test 58 and 60s and whatnot, I just have to be okay with that in the position. So a recap on the bullish side, this is the pattern here. Big moves up, retrace, move up again, retrace. A retrace, correction, same thing. Little move, and then it had a fake out to the upper side. Crash, took out the low, tried, and fell short of the top, giving us a lower top. Move up, retrace, move up, retrace, correction, all right? Smaller move up. These are getting smaller and smaller. It looks like it's starting to roll over. Do we get a fake out? Do we not? And then try, break down, come up, maybe get a lower high, and then continue down. That is all possible, and that brings us out into September, which of course is still part of the third quarter. Looking back on that video that I just put out a couple of weeks ago, what's going to happen into Bitcoin through these periods, get ready. That video there, Bitcoin's next big move. That's where I'm looking at potentially getting a bit of a retrace into September and then start the move up from there. If we do get that, for me, that's a nice sign of a bullish setup for the next stage of the market. How is all that Bitcoin news going to affect ADA? So the ADA price is holding up reasonably well. We're above our old all-time high still. Remember, this was the area that if we were to get a correction, we'd want it to hold up above the old all-time highs. And for me, I'm happy for it to go to around the closes of the all-time high, which lines up very well with the swing top before the breakout. And that sits us at around $2.30. So they're my reasons why that area is still safe for me. All right, so anywhere between there and our current top, or if we put in a new top, great. So that is kind of my zone for a consolidation, 230 to about 310-ish area. If we continue down and we break past that swing low, that's at about $1.90, $1.80, then we could be in for some more churn. All right, that could be now, that could be next week, next month. Remember, we do have smart contracts coming out next month, and this could just be a lot of excitement in the market. You guys let me know. Is this the first time you've heard about Cardano on this pump, or is this the first time you're buying Cardano being in the last, say, 7 days since it's pumped, 7 to 21 days? Let me know in the comments down below. How new are you to ADA? So that's a zone for a bullish consolidation at higher grounds. And should we break down, this is the level for me that I think, well, maybe we've got a little bit more time at the lower prices, maybe consolidation above the 150 to around that 190, or even as high as the $2.50 zone. That could be another consolidation. And now my chart's getting a little bit like a children's drawing here. So they're my zones for ADA. What has actually happened here? Not too much. We had a reversal of about 6.5% on the day. Nothing for me to be concerned about. My targets are still at around 315 for the 100% on this move, or the 341, which we looked at from yesterday's video, using the major range. This is from the COVID crash low to the previous all-time high projected from the May crash low. So that gives me a price around that 340. All right, so that's my setups for ADA and how I'm viewing the market moving forward. Possible consolidation, good buy points for future moves up. Does it have to do this? No, it doesn't. But providing I have a plan, I can sleep well at night. If I don't have a plan and I'm just thinking, what is going to happen today? Should I be buying today? Should I not? That drives me crazy, and I can't sleep. I need a plan. I hope you guys do too. If you are interested in setting yourself up with a plan, check out the Investor Accelerator. Link is down below. There's still some specials on the premium courses there for you guys, so the links are down there. If you haven't got yourself an exchange in Australia, check out SwiftX. Links are down below. Our portfolio, our demo portfolio here is up around 30%. We got in at the highs in February, and the major holds here are ADA, Solana, and FTX. Well, FTT is the token with a little bit of cash on the sidelines to get us in. So for the Aussies, $10 free if you sign up with the link down below. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully you can join us on the journey if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button, 200,000. Like the video up if you haven't. I'll see you on Instagram and on Twitter. Until the next video, have more fun to get more done.